This question may seem like a very bizarre story, but it's actually a very common situation on the SAT. So the best thing you can do is just kind of draw out what they're saying, and I think it'll click what they're actually talking about. Let's focus on Jeremy. Okay, so Jeremy, he is 172 centimeters tall, so I'm not going to be artistic about this. He is just a person on the ground, and he is 172 centimeters tall. Okay, he's also casting a shadow that's 196 centimeters long. So let's pretend this ground part here is the shadow, so that's 196. Now, what did we just make? Well, we made a triangle. I know it doesn't quite look like it, but if I connect the two dots and think about how someone standing straight is at a right angle to the ground, I have a right triangle. And because these two people are standing near each other at the same time, the angles of the sun are not going to affect anything. This is basically about creating similar triangles. So if this is Jeremy, then we need to think about what's going on with Roberto. So he's also going to create this kind of triangle that we care about. And all we know about Roberto is that he's got a 209 centimeter long shadow. So what we're really trying to find is his height. Let me just call that X. So what we want to do is set up a ratio to represent the similarity between these two triangles and just make sure you are comparing similar things. There's multiple ways to set this up. The way that I would do it, just to keep the X on top, is I would say that X over 209 is equal to 172 over 196. If you set this up so that the X is on the bottom, that's okay. You can do that as long as to match it, the 172 is on the bottom on the other side. Basically, you want to keep the same units or the same type of thing on the same part of the fraction. Once we have this, thankfully we have a calculator so that we can actually just cross multiply and divide. So what I would do here actually is do 172 divided by 196. So 172 divided by 196. That is some crazy number. I'll kind of abbreviate it a little bit, 0.87755. And then I would multiply both sides by 209. So I'm not actually going to cross multiply here. It just ends up being normal, kind of solving for X kind of stuff. And so I have that number in my calculator times 209. I get X is equal to 183, and yeah, there's a decimal here, and it says approximately, so we're covered. We can just round that down to 183. So this is a very simple geometry situation. You will see this very likely on your SAT. Similar triangles are very common, so we can't be afraid of them, but what they did here is they took a story and layered it on top so that it's harder to recognize what's going on. But the good thing about the SAT is they only test a limited number of topics. So if you can get good at spotting the topic, you can get back to basics and know what you're dealing with very quickly and solve things in very traditional ways, even when the question is a little weird.